that reduction of $545 million to the FBI base resources. It's certainly true we don't have a budget. Certainly the conclusion that with what we have, it made sense to proceed with these hearings so that the appropriations process can continue. And we look to Director Patel to help fill in spaces as to what is going to occur based upon what he knows, which presumably is maybe significantly more than what we know is the plan at the FBI. The document that we've received asserts that savings, this $545 million, can come from reductions in DEI programs, pet projects of the former administration, and duplicative intelligence activities. Is that accurate? Is that capable of being done, that we can find this in what I suppose most people around here call waste, fraud, and abuse? Or does it have real consequences to the level of personnel and the capabilities of meeting the mission of the FBI?
Hey Patriots, welcome to Right View Nation, where we deliver the unfiltered truth Washington elites fear. I'm your host, and today we're tackling something that's got the establishment panicking: the proposed $545 million cut to the FBI's budget. Before we start, hit subscribe and that notification bell so you never miss our truth bombs. Your support through our America First merch helps us keep fighting when big tech tries silencing voices like ours. This Senate hearing with FBI Director Patel has me fired up for all the right reasons. For years we've talked about bloated bureaucracy bleeding hardworking Americans dry. And finally, we're seeing action. Let me break down what's happening. This $545 million reduction targets three areas draining your tax dollars while undermining American values. 1. DEI programs diversity, equity, and inclusion for those blessed enough not to know this woke terminology. Programs forcing critical race theory into law enforcement. 2. Pet projects from the previous administration, political witch hunts targeting conservatives, parents at school boards, and people of faith. 3. Duplicative intelligence activities. Washington speak for redundant operations wasting your money to build bureaucratic empires. This is exactly what President Trump promised when talking about draining the swamp. We're cutting fat and returning the FBI to what it should do, protecting Americans from real threats like violent criminals and human traffickers, not pushing political agendas.
Well, I think my job, Senator, is to make sure we can find it. We've identified a lot of it already, and we'll continue to do it irrespective of where the budget lands, because we can't have waste, fraud, and abuse. But I'll make the mission work on whatever budget we're given.
But that means lowering the mission, right?
I think right now where we are, Senator, is that stepping back from 432 years ago, there's vacancies at the Bureau that have been held vacant for a number of years. So while the Bureau is on the books for 38,000 folks, over the last 3 years and 2 years, that has been attrited down to about 35 and change, because those vacancies have gone unfunded. And so we're not in a position right now to say, let's just hire 3,000 people back. We couldn't do that if we even had the money tomorrow. That would take quite some time. And so we have been working on the numbers that we currently are at. And I think the budget that we've put forward would not force me to remove active duty line agents, is the mission I'm protecting against.
Director, when you say the budget we've put together, you're talking about the skinny budget that we've
Right.
seen. Okay. What more would you be able to do if you're able to fill those vacancies?
If we were able to fill those vacancies, we would continue expanding upon the project that I started about reorienting assets across America, and growing our facilities in places like Patel and Redstone and West Virginia, where we have CGIS and some other campuses. So those are things we could do.
Tell me what concerns you or I or the rest of us should have in the departure of senior members of the FBI if the budget is insufficient to fill positions. How do we keep senior officers from retiring?
I think, Senator, it's a problem everybody has. If people want to retire, they're going to retire. The good news is, from the folks that I've met in the Bureau, we've been able to retain significant levels of senior leadership, both in Washington and throughout the country. And so I think with the renewed mission that we have under this administration, folks are just standing in line to continue to take on the mission set, and they've adjusted over the last few years to doing more with less.
Director, I don't think it's part of the skinny budget, but there's a proposal afoot to increase the number of years, the calculation from 3 years to 5 years on retirement benefits. I'm told that has a consequence on people who are already eligible to retire, would perhaps decide to retire now despite their commitment to the FBI or other law enforcement agencies. Is that a concern?
Senator, I'm not read up on that, so I'll have to get back to you on that one specifically.
And then finally, let me ask about the cooperation. What's your relationship, what's the FBI's relationship, your relationship as the director with other federal law enforcement agencies? It's always been my goal, and I've only succeeded once when I chaired this subcommittee before, to have not only the FBI director appear before us, but also DEA, ATF, and the U.S. Marshals. Would you, in their absence this morning, because they're not capable of being here, would you give us your rundown on the relationship between the FBI and other federal law enforcement agencies? What's the level of cooperation, and are they doing the job that helps you do yours as well?
It's incredible. And I'll just give you a simple example, Senator. One of the initiatives that we stood up at the FBI was the Homeland Security Task Force. And the first place we took it was the state of Virginia, just because of geography. And what we did was DEA, DHS, FBI, HSI, state, local authorities, Virginia state authorities, all nested in an FBI facility in the state of Virginia to cover down on what we call the first operation for Homeland Security Task Force. And it was a simple phone call to the leadership at the DEA, at DHS, at FBI. And I said, hey, I need 20 guys and gals here. I need 40 guys and gals here. And the governor said, we're going to give you 50. And what we did in 1 month was arrest 500 individuals and violent felons in the state of Virginia. And that's, to me, speaks to the quality of the relationship we have across the interagency. And we want to take that model to other states across this country, and that's what we're looking to do.
Thank you, Director. Senator Shaheen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
You should have heard the leftist senators painting this as apocalyptic for national security. The panic in their voices trying to trap Director Patel into saying these cuts would harm America. What are they hiding? But Patel stood firm and said, direct quote, "My job is to make sure we can find it. We've identified a lot of it already, and will continue to do it irrespective of where the budget lands, because we can't have waste, fraud, and abuse. But I'll make the mission work on whatever budget we're given." That's leadership we've needed in Washington. Someone who understands fiscal responsibility and respects taxpayer money instead of treating the Treasury like a personal slush fund. Let's get specific. The FBI should have 38,000 employees, but operates with about 35,000 due to years of vacancies. They've had thousands of unfilled positions, yet received budget increases? So the fearmongering about cuts causing layoffs? Complete propaganda. They're not even filling positions they already have. Most importantly, Director Patel made clear that active duty line agents, those actually protecting America, will not be affected. He's protecting the core mission while trimming administrative bloat and ideological programming. Something that caught my attention. When asked about interagency cooperation, Patel described a Homeland Security Task Force in Virginia bringing together FBI, DEA, DHS, and local authorities, arresting 500 violent felons in 1 month. That's what federal law enforcement should focus on. Not sensitivity training, not investigating parents at school boards, but arresting violent criminals threatening law-abiding citizens. Let me be crystal clear. I support law enforcement 100%. Rank-and-file FBI agents are patriots like us who joined to protect America. But leadership and bureaucracy have been corrupted by political operatives for too long. These cuts aren't weakening the FBI. They're strengthening it by refocusing on its constitutional mission, making it more efficient by cutting ideological indoctrination and political targeting forced by previous administrations. This is just the beginning of needed reforms. The new administration is serious about reigning in the administrative state. Remember when they said the deep state was too entrenched? They're being proven wrong daily. Something else significant. A senator mentioned changing federal retirement calculations from 3 to 5 years. This could cause retirement waves as eligible agents leave before changes take effect. Not entirely bad. An opportunity for fresh blood. Agents committed to the Constitution rather than partisan agendas. Think about recent FBI history. Text messages plotting against a duly elected president, manufactured investigations, targeting traditional Americans while ignoring leftist violence. A fresh start with agents committed to equal application of law would benefit our republic. We're witnessing transformation many thought impossible. Federal agencies have operated as a fourth branch of government never mentioned in our Constitution, with unlimited power and zero accountability. What the media won't tell you. These cuts make America more safe by ensuring agencies focus on actual threats, not political vendettas and social engineering. What's safer? An FBI stopping violent criminals and foreign spies, or wasting resources on diversity training and investigating parents at school boards? The answer is obvious to anyone with common sense, probably why it confuses the DC establishment. Critics will call us anti-government or anti-law enforcement for supporting these cuts. Nothing could be further from truth. I'm pro-good government, pro-constitutional law enforcement. I want agencies operating within proper boundaries, respecting our rights, focusing on core missions. That's not extreme. It's what our founding fathers intended. The founders understood something today's big government advocates forgot. Government trying to do everything will do nothing well. By trimming agencies to core constitutional functions, we're making them more effective. America wasn't founded on all-powerful federal bureaucracy micromanaging citizens' lives. It was built on limited government, individual liberty, and equally applied law. We've drifted dangerously from those principles. Patriots, this hearing gives me genuine hope. We're seeing concrete steps to reform agencies, cut waste and political agendas, and refocus on their true purpose, serving under the Constitution, not ruling over us. The swamp is draining, one budget cut at a time. The establishment will fight with everything they have. They'll claim these cuts are dangerous. Don't fall for fear tactics. They're protecting their power at your expense. This is just the beginning of our constitutional restoration. Stay vigilant. Stay informed. Keep pushing representatives to support these reforms. The deep state won't be dismantled overnight, but with your support and leaders unafraid of tough decisions, we will restore these institutions to their proper role. If you found this valuable, hit like, share with friends who need truth, and comment below. Your engagement helps beat algorithm censorship. Remember, freedom requires eternal vigilance and courage to stand for what's right, even when unpopular. Until next time, this is Right View Nation, standing for God, family, and country. God bless America.